good evening to those in the audience and those watching us on Facebook. My name is Tracy Renslani. I'm the administrator with the Howard County Office of Consumer Protection. And today I am hosting some amazing speakers who can help you plan, budget, and execute your home improvement project in a safe way. I'd like to talk a little bit about what our office does, and then I'm going to turn it on over to Dave Finneran from the Maryland Home Improvement Commission. And following that will be Tom Huskins. He's from the Department of Inspections, Permitting and Licensing and Permitting. I had it backwards, sorry. We also have Taylor Shelton from Department of Housing and Community Development, and also Marcia White from Rebuilding Together, who will talk about ways that you can help pay for your home improvement project. So the Office of Consumer Protection is a dispute resolution is our #1 mission, and so we do a lot of work with home improvement complaints. We also do a lot of outreach, and so we have a flyer here on common home improvement scams. For folks that are here in the audience, please stop off at the tables because there's some really good, useful information. And our host, the library, thank you so much for hosting us. They've actually put out some great books that you can check out. But they also have a program, which I don't know if folks know, where you can rent tools from the libraries, which is like an amazing resource. The first thing I will say is that it is now home improvement season, which is why we've invited these amazing speakers today. You are going to get folks coming door to door, whether it's windows or siding or solar panels, or hey, there's a squirrel that ran into your attic, or I have some leftover materials, which no good contractor will ever have leftover materials. Anyone who's knocking on your door needs to have our license. So if anyone knocks on your door to sell you anything, ask them for the solicitor or peddler's license that we issue. If they can't show it to you, if they say it's back at the office or the company has it, we license the person, not the company. So they have to be able to show you that license. And so that is your first line of defense. Ask for the peddler or solicitor license that we issue. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to David Finneran from the Maryland Home Improvement Commission.
Thank you, Tracy. Thanks everybody for coming tonight. I am Dave Finneran. I'm the director of the Maryland Home Improvement Commission. We administer the home improvement laws of Maryland and regulate contractors and salespeople that do perform home improvements. Home improvement will be any renovation, any work that you have done on your house that doesn't include another licensing category, such as electricians, plumbers, HVAC contractors are all licensed separately. But any of the painting and the drywall, if you do concrete work, even outside the house, siding, roofing, would all fall under home improvement. And in that case, a contractor that performs that work or enters into a contract with you would be required to hold a home improvement license. We shorten that up for MHIC license, Maryland Home Improvement Commission. I have a staff of 20. We have 32,000 plus licensed contractors in the state and a little over 3,000 licensed salespeople. So the folks that come to your home, if they negotiate to sell a home improvement contract, they're required to hold a salesperson license. So let me start. I'd like to start by asking a question. Has anybody had any home improvements done recently? Has anybody, show of hands, anybody had maybe a bad experience with a contractor in the past, or knows a relative that has? There's going to be a few of you, but we're going to try to make it at the end of this, and hopefully any experience you have in the future is going to be a better experience. So we're going to see if we can teach you a little bit about home improvement. Our goal is to safeguard the consumer rights of homeowners. Our mission is to foster professionalism and a high quality of workmanship throughout the industry. So choosing a contractor. The contractors will come because we have such a broad category of work that would fall under home improvement license. You're going to want to find a contractor that fits your particular project. You wouldn't want to use a painting contractor who specializes in painting to do a flooring job or that kind of, or a roofing job, things of that nature. So you're going to try to find a contractor that fits your project. Comparison shop. You want to, the best situation would be to get some advice from a relative or somebody that you know that's had experience with a particular contractor, somebody that could recommend one. You can also go out and get some estimates for yourself. You'll feel more comfortable with more estimates, more information. The contractor will describe the job to each one that comes by the house. So you get up to 3 estimates and you'll feel better about the project when you get started. It's not necessary for you to pay for an estimate. Estimate should be free. Let's try to find some estimates that make sense, that are free. Let's start there. Be aware that the lowest estimate may not always be the best value for your project. If a contractor has the skills needed, sometimes that contract will be higher than the lowest estimate. Quality of materials is going to be important as well. So you're going to want to discuss quality of materials. You're going to want to make sure they're specified in the contract so you know what you're getting. Ask to see the contractor's license. Just because the contractor says they're licensed, we know from our complaint history that they aren't always licensed. We want to confirm that. You're going to start by asking for the contractor's license, follow that up with a phone call to any one of my staff, and they'll look in the records to confirm that they are holding a active license. So enter into.
No public database.
There is a public database. There's a search field in our website. If you Google MHIC, you'll find our website as pretty close to the top. And there's a search field. You can do it, but it doesn't always give you the full story. You can get a little more information by calling us. You can give the complaint history, how long they've been in business, an important feature, and make sure they are properly licensed. If you do hire a licensed contractor, you have the protections of home improvement law. Home improvement law will, if you have a problem with that contractor, if they do unsatisfactory or insufficient or abandon the home improvement job altogether, we have a guarantee fund that will pay you back for any actual loss caused by a licensed contractor. If it's an unlicensed contractor, we don't have those tools. We would have to address it a different way, and I'll talk about licensed contractors here in a minute. All right, so verbal contracts. Let's go enter into a verbal contract. The contractor, let's get the contractor to sit down with you, just have a lot of discussion about the project so you know what the scope of the project is, and then let's find a written contract and let's sign that contract and make sure you have a copy of that. You may even want to have an attorney look at that contract, especially for the more complicated jobs, just to make sure that your rights are covered. And I see right on the bulletin board over here, they have a flyer up there for legal services. So there's some help if you need it through some legal aid services. The contract must include, let's make sure the total amount paid is on that contract. The payment schedule. Let's make sure if it's a larger project, you want to set up a draw schedule where you're paying the contractor as the project moves along. You don't want the money to get too far ahead of the project. If it's a larger project, you don't want to pay for it all in full up front. Actually, home improvement law, we limit the amount of money that a contractor can take at the time of signing to a maximum of 1/3. So 1/3 of the deposit at the time of signing is the maximum. That's a negotiable number. It doesn't have to be 1/3, it can be less. But a reasonable payment schedule, agree to start and finish dates. Put these dates in the contract. They're going to be approximate. There are things that happen. There's permits that'll hold you up. There will be building material issues. There could be labor struggles, but and weather. So let's put some approximate start and finish dates in that contract so everybody knows how that project should progress. That'll You're going to be spelling out all your expectations so both parties are aware of it. And then after you sign the contract, there's even a signed contract, and even after you've given a deposit, the Door-to-Door Sales Act allows you to cancel a home improvement contract 5 days. You may cancel this transaction at any time prior to midnight of the 5th business day or midnight of the 7th business day if the buyer is 65 years old or older after the date of the transaction. So, if you rushed into something, the salesman sold you a project that you had second thoughts about, you have that chance to cancel. So now, complaint side, if you have a contractor that did not perform well, it was unsatisfactory, unworkmanlike, it wasn't up to the standards of the industry, you can file an MHIC complaint. We ask you keep the lines of communication open with your contractor. You can avoid a lot of complaints just by good communication. And after you've decided that it's time to file a complaint, go ahead and request a complaint form from my staff, or you can go online and download a complaint form. We need your original signature on that, so you're going to have to mail that into us or bring it into the office directly. We want a copy of your contract, your methods of payment, photos. Tell us what the situation is. That is the homeowner side of the story, that complaint. Now, we're going to send that complaint to the contractor, and we're going to ask the contractor, order the contractor to respond to get their side of the story. And then it goes to an investigator to try to mediate that situation. Worst case, it ends up going to a hearing if everybody's dug in and we can't get any forward progress.
Like statutes of limitations.
There are statutes of limitations, so not to file a complaint. Anybody can file a complaint, but the second step in the complaint, after you've got a complaint, you've sent it to the investigator. Investigator says, yeah, this looks like a violation of home improvement law. We're going to send it to a hearing. Well, a hearing is a claim hearing, so the second step is to file a claim against the guarantee fund. We have a fund that's funded to repay the homeowners that have an actual loss due to the acts of the contractor. And we would ask you to file a claim form. It's very similar, but you have to back up your claim at this point. We're asking you to prove that you paid the money, so you have an actual loss, and to talk and get obtain an estimate or proposal or contract from another licensed individual, licensed contractor, licensed engineer, someone who's licensed in the industry, is considered an expert in the industry, and you're going to want to get that estimate and send that in to support your claim. And then we push it forward to a hearing. So that's the second step of that. So that guarantee fund is supported by licensed contractors. They all pay into the fund. That fund is compensation to anybody that does have an actual loss. The maximum recovery from the guarantee fund is $30,000 per claimant. So a homeowner that has a $40,000 loss would be limited to collect from our fund a maximum of $30,000. So that, or it's actually limited by the amount of money that you actually pay the homeowner, the contractor. If you only pay the contractor $20,000, you can't collect $30,000. You can't obtain a profit from the guarantee fund. So contracts also can have an arbitration clause in them. If you're negotiating that contract, there's a contractor that puts an arbitration clause in there as a dispute resolution method. So if it's a binding arbitration clause, it will force you to go to arbitration before you can file a claim against the guarantee fund. So you'd have to go to get a ruling from the arbiter before we can move forward with that claim. So an unlicensed contractor. So probably a third of all of our complaints against unlicensed contractors. Homeowners aren't aware that the benefits of using a licensed contractor might be a little cheaper to use an unlicensed contractor, but in the long run, it could cost you. You don't have the benefit of the Home Improvement Guarantee Fund. There's no real strong method to get your money back. if an unlicensed contractor comes in and takes a deposit and does no work, we can file criminal charges against that contractor, but we're going to have the contractor's identity. We're going to have to get a positive ID on that contractor. And we have to have a willing witness, the homeowner that's willing to go testify in court, in criminal court, against an unlicensed contractor. And then the judge can or has the option to award a restitution to the homeowner, but the contractor may or may not have the money. So let's use a licensed contractor. Strong argument for using a licensed contractor. And that is the end of my narrative. But I do have some handouts available from MHIC. You can order, call our office. We'll send them to you. They include 10 tips for choosing a contractor, and I have some in the back of the room as well. Really quickly, decide which home improvements you want to make for your home. Seek licensed contractors. Obtain more than one estimate. Ask them to show their home improvement license to you. Verify their license with our website or at our office. Check the contractor's complaint record. Request references from the contractor. We didn't talk about that. And choose a contractor who's right for you. Always get a written contract, no verbal contracts. And request to see the building permit. The building permit is an important part of that project to make sure that the work's done correctly. We have a warning letter that we can just send you as well. It just tells you that liability insurance is an important part of this. All licensed contractors do have liability insurance for any consequential damage. If they drop paint on your floor or run over your light pole when they're backing in your driveway, the liability insurance claim would be the way to recover that money. And then building permits, we do also require that they put their MHIC number, license number on their vehicles. So look on their vehicles as a way to verify, help verify that they have a contractor's license. And then this pink core card just tells you a little bit about what should be on a contract, deposits and payments and the Door-to-Door Sales Act. The Department of Labor has occupational and professional licensing has 24 boards and commissions that license anyone from cemeteries to electricians to plumbers. Just make sure you use a licensed home improvement individual. And Tracy, I think that does it for me, and I want to try to throw the baton to somebody else. Yes, go ahead. Yeah.
So there's do we have different type of contractor, like general contractor, whatever?
There certainly are. In building contractors, there's the commercial contractor who is basically unregulated. There's not an agency that regulates commercial contracting. They do have to get a commercial license, though. It's more of a registration. There's home improvement contractors, new home builder registration unit. They license new home contractors. And then there's a marine contractor license that licenses anybody that's close to the shore, doing riprap, piers, docks, things of that nature. So, and then subcontractors are unlicensed. They do hold a business license, but they aren't regulated by an agency as well. So subcontractors are the responsibility of the contractor. So we hold the contractor responsible. The subcontractors are, hopefully the contractors are vetting their subcontractors and hiring people that have the skills they need.
So we also talk about the plumbers and electricians, HVAC, because those are different boards.
Yeah, that's more like a trade license. I'm talking about like a general contractor. So they have to, I guess there will be some kind of written test in order to get a license?
There
or
is.
Just register?
Well, home improvement contractors do take a test, so do the salespeople. It's based on home improvement law. It's not based on the skills to work on a job. So they're learning about the law, and they have to prove that they understand the law, and that's part of the testing process.
So do they have to renew like every couple of years?
They do.
To keep the license?
Correct. Yeah, you get your original license, and then it's a 2-year renewal period for both contractors and salespeople.
And do they have to go through some kind of legal or any updating trainings? And
no.
to get some, or are they just automatic pay the money and?
It's pay the money. We look at their conduct both at the original application and things, see if there's any kind of legal issues that would restrict them from having a license, and then liability insurance has to be updated.
So do you have different type dollar amount of liability, or you just say you need to have minimum, for example, $1 million?
That's a great question, because there's a law going through right now, and actually I think it was just signed as of maybe yesterday that increased the liability insurance minimum to $500,000 per contractor. So every contractor must have a $500,000 general liability.
That's per company, right?
That's per company, yes. If they're signing a contract as an individual or a company, either way, they need to have that same $500,000 worth.
So the reason is sometimes the contractor, they have maybe 1 person, 2 person, 5 person, you know. It's ahead of the person who hold a license, need 500,000, or maybe
The licensed individual, which can be, we can license the individual, or we can license the individual and the company. Either case, both of those or the individual are licensed. They are insured. They must be insured.
yeah, there was some kind of liability issue, and then so you're saying they increased to 500,000.
Yes.
That's a minimum, right?
That's correct. And most policies, I see them every day, are $1 million. Most insurance agents just write them for $1 million. But 500 will be the minimum limit, correct?
The state
And
law.
it is right now. I think it's being signed into law in July, but yes,
I
it
mean,
was
the
passed.
reason is when you want to interview a contractor, they say, if they don't know, they say, oh, I'm insured. Say, how much? Sometimes you want to know whether the guy is actually.
Then you can ask them to give you a certificate of insurance.
Sir.
Oh, okay. I didn't. They supposed to carry it?
And that's.
No, they wouldn't carry it, but they could give it to
They
you.
can furnish it to you as part of the contract.
Sure.
Oh,
I
okay.
was a contractor most of the way.
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea how to deal with contractor. We just take it. Okay, I'm licensed. Okay, and then we just trust it.
You want proof.
Yeah, and the one thing I will say, and this I ran into quite a bit in years past, just because they give you an MHIC number doesn't mean it's theirs. And so a lot of times.
Oh, they can borrow someone else?
They can.
Not legally.
Not legally, but that's it. So if someone gets fired, they might take the boss's MHIC number and run with it. So whenever you see a number, run it through a search on MHIC's website and make sure that if Smith Contracting is pitching you, that number belongs to Smith Contracting and not Jones Contracting. You know what I mean?
You might be worried about an unlicensed contractor instead of a licensed.
Yeah, and
That's
the
the difference.
number one way you know you have an unlicensed contractor, and this is a good segue to Tom, is they say it's a lot cheaper if you pull the permit than if I pull the permit, because Tom's agency will not give you a license, will not give a permit to an unlicensed contractor unless you can talk about the homestead exception.
Yeah. And our law says that the contractor must ensure that a permit is on the job if the permit is required. It doesn't say who has to. Tom can talk about how to pull a permit, but it doesn't say that the contractor must pull the permit, but it just says that they must ensure that it's on the job.
Oh,
So it
yeah.
could be a
So the
homeowner, architect,
homeowner
or
can
whoever.
pull the permit, go in and
If the permit's
register.
required, it has to be there.
Yeah. But
You can pull the permit.
okay.
As a
Or
home.
apply for when you say pull, does that mean apply?
Apply, I'm sorry.
And then sometimes they have a requirement, like you require to have a blueprint of the building.
I'm going to leave that up to the next office.
I know, I'm just saying, if you get overwhelmed, then the homeowner say, okay, you can take care of it.
Yeah.
You know, so.
No other questions?
I'm
I
sorry.
think I was listening to him first, but I do have a question. Like, for you to tell, are there pictures of what an official license looks like on a website or something?
It certainly has the state seal. Is there a picture? I don't believe I've ever seen a picture on the website, but it would have the state seal in the middle of it. And it's got a signature of the donor on it, and it would have a license number. It's a pretty official looking document, but I don't.
Well, it might be help, like,
I like that.
to like put a picture, because we don't know, like, they can show us this.
But again, that's
Say, this
how
is
you
my
follow.
license.
Yeah, I would ask you to follow up with one of my staff members to make sure.
But then, like, we're in the middle of negotiations.
But you got 5 days to cancel, right? Yeah, 5 days.
I mean, it's a recommendation, so that we can be more
I
informed
like it.
before we
Very
go
good.
talk to contractors.
Is there any other questions? All right, folks, I thank you very much, and I'm going to pass the court.
Turn it on over to Tom Huskins.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
My name's Tom Huskers. I've been around this business a long time. I'm old, as everybody can tell. I'm older than date. Anyway, I've been a home builder for 30 years. I've been in the home improvement business and the building business. And my oldest son still runs those businesses. They've been around since 1973. Anyway, I'm the inspection and enforcement side of the business. I have a group of like 34 inspectors who inspect building, plumbing, electric, HVAC, the mechanical, fire protection, and rental housing inspections. My cohort here, Amanda, she is the inspection side, the permitting side of the business. I'm the guy that has to deal with the public and the contractors. And most of the time it's very pleasant, sometimes it's not. But when you're hiring a contractor, always get referrals, in my opinion. You should get, if you have a friend that used a contractor, get that friend to give you, the contractor to give you a price. You can get several prices, as Dave said. The more knowledgeable you are, the easier it is. And I find, in Howard County, we've got a lot of good contractors, and most of them follow the laws, and we have the exceptions every once in a while. And that's when Tracy steps in. But, we want people to treat us like we would treat them. Most contractors do. Most of them want to do a good job, get done and get out. They'll get paid, make their living, go forth. Like I said, in Howard County, we do about 300 inspections a day for a small group of people, so it's quite active, quite busy. Like I said, that's about 34 inspectors and 5 supervisors. So it's hectic, we're busy, and most of us enjoy the job. But again, the enforcement side of the business is the unpleasant side. We have a building contractor, if he's building new houses, home addition, renovation, which requires the MHIC license. They want to be efficient, get that job and get it done. So when we come out and inspect the job, if we fail an inspection or something, we go by an international residential code. We're on the 2021 version right now. And it's updated every 3 years. And all our inspectors qualify to be inspectors and maintain that. Our building, our plumbing, electrical, and HVAC inspectors are all master contractors. Formerly, most of them have a master's license, they have a master inspector's license, it's called. And so they know what they're doing when they go out the job. And what I was getting at, when we fail an inspection, the contractor fixes it right away because he wants to keep that project moving. And if he doesn't, we have enforcement mechanisms. He can write a notice of violation to the contractor, or even to the homeowner where the project is. Most contractors wouldn't want us to notify the homeowner that we're sending a notice of violation, so they correct the violation and move forward.
So can you pause right there? Mm-hmm. So I'm stuck in who. So it sounds like there's a process for closing out a permit.
Correct.
There's a beginning inspection and a final. When that doesn't happen, does that fall on the contractor or the homeowner?
Falls on the homeowner. I tell you why.
That's really unfortunate.
Well, we go after the contractor first to try and get it completed. It falls on the homeowner because you own the project. Sometimes, as I start to get to, we issue a notice of violation, we get the contractor X number of days to perform. And most inspections, let me back up, most inspections we go out there, if we fail, the contractor fixes immediately, it's an oversight, something they didn't know, or just a flat out mistake and it's fixed. If they don't fix it, we can go to enforcement action, which is rare for the number of inspections we do. But when we do go to enforcement action, we write a notice of violation, can go to the homeowner or the contractor.
Or and? It's not or.
Not and. We send it to the homeowner, we copy the contractor. The reason we send it to the homeowner, because there's a $250 a day fine involved. And homeowner gets that contractor moving, but we contact the contractor is copied, and we contact him first. or her. And that gets moving, because we tell them $250 a day fine if you look at this resolve. They have the option of paying the fine. It accumulates $250 a day very fast. And they have the option to go to court. We might give them 15 days to resolve. And if they're moving forward, we'll extend it and give them more time. But if it doesn't get resolved, we go to court. We have people in court every day. And, excuse me. But when we go to court, then it's up to the judge. We have fines, might be, if they resolve, I'm sorry?
What type of court is it?
District Court of the State of Maryland.
Well, I just curious.
Yeah, right in the heart of Howard.
Okay.
Docket City.
So it's a district. Okay.
Yes, it's official court. We don't go to arbitration, we go to court.
Okay.
Now, licensed individuals is a little bit different issue and so forth, And the licensed contractors, they pay a fee that goes to a guaranteed fund. I assume it's still that way. But when we take a contractor to court and the judge rules on it, he might give them 30 days to wrap this up, or it's going to cost you $6,000 out of a $10,000 fine that we're up to. And then,
So are those public records, like we can go?
Yes.
See,
yeah, everything's a public record.
Okay,
That's why
so
you want
we know
referrals.
which contractor went to the court and then.
Yeah, that's why you want a referral and a good contractor. And there's more good contractors out there than bad.
Oh, yeah.
That's for sure. But that's my part of the job, is the enforcement. I'm the chief of inspections and enforcement for Howard County, and it's we have our tools to make contractors move. And I always say we have more good contractors than bad contractors.
So what's the turnaround rate? I mean, sometimes the contractors say, "Oh, you need an inspection. We're waiting for the inspection or re-inspect. It's going to take days." Or
you call them for inspection today, you have it tomorrow.
oh, really? Oh, okay. Sorry.
Absolutely. It's rare that we don't. Sometimes we run into that. I can set limits if we have people sick or so forth, but usually it's a 24-hour turnaround.
Oh.
Yeah. If a contractor's telling me that the inspection group is holding off, that's an untruth.
Oh.
That's a lie, because we don't do that. And we're available to call, 8 hours a day with there, sometimes a little longer. But we're pretty efficient.
Oh, thank you.
And we have a director that keeps us efficient, and it makes for a pleasant operation. We don't get behind. Because if we get behind, there's another way the inspection's coming behind that, so it's constant moving.
How does the homeowner know what needs to be inspected? I
Okay,
do
there-
a bathroom remodel, and only one contractor even mentioned inspections.
Okay, on the inspections, it depends what you're building, but basically, the inspections are listed on the county website if you went to Dill. I think Amanda's got some paperwork over there that has all this listed on.
There's a QR
There's a
code for
handout.
forms and fees, and there's a list of all of the inspection codes and all of the
Yeah,
different
it's good
types
to
of
know. Sometimes
inspections.
it's a mystery, I've been around this so long that it's, everything seems such a routine. Like I said, I've got a son that still runs a building business, and, he's very involved in it. But that handout has pretty much everything you need to know. And my business cards are over there also. If anybody wants to pick them up, give me a call if you have any questions, I'll certainly answer it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's, they said, from your side of the view, it's different, than my side. Like I tell everybody at work, I work on the contractor side of that counter all the time, and I know the procedures. And we try and protect the public. That's the purpose of our inspections, is to make the job safe, make everything correct.
That sounds oxymoron if the fault falls on the homeowner.
No, yeah, and I'll tell you why it falls on the homeowner. Because the homeowner owns the property. If we have a fine out there that's $10,000, the judge orders it to be paid, we collect it off. We can put a lien against the homeowner's property. A lot of times contractors are hard to track down. Now we do go after contractors mostly on the mechanical trades, the electrical, plumbing, and the HVAC. Of course, they've got a separate license. They don't their license jeopardized. So what happens there, we've had, there's licensed contractors who've paid Howard County big fees to settle a dispute. But we do have the option to go after the homeowner. Because you own the property, and I'll tell you why, because it's your right to make that decision to hire that contractor.
That's true.
It's not
But
ours.
it seems like I'm sitting
I
here
know, I
asking
understand.
you, like, who even closes the permit loop? Like,
Okay,
I didn't know that as a homeowner trying to.
yeah, and that's the purpose for part of this,
So we
meeting
have
here
to
tonight.
supervise those
We
contractors.
want everybody,
Did you know that?
we want everybody to understand there's initial permits. There might be a footing inspection, there might be a drain tile, backfill, one inspection, slab inspection, framing inspection, wall
Did we
bracing
get those
inspection.
information from the inspection
Yeah, we
website?
would give it to
Kind
you,
of
and
educate
And
ourselves?
it's on that website.
Okay.
And the contractor is supposed to post that permit on site. And that permit will have our information on there too, where you can call. And you should never pay a contractor so you see a final inspection sticker. You know, some contractors are famous, as Dave said, there's a maximum down payment of 30% or 33%, 30%, I guess. I know pool contractors are famous. They take big lump sums up front and leave 10% at the end. So they drag out that job, and you want your pool finished for June, July, and they're push you out to September, October, you lose a season. But that's one thing unique, in my opinion, about pool contractors.
And not to comment on you here, Tom, but so if a permit is pulled for your property, we have a public database. The website is myhoward.info. And that'll take you to our citizens access portal. That's where contractors are applying for permits. That's where homeowners are applying for permits. And it's actually on one of the packets. You picked up the packet from our table there. But you can actually track all of the inspections that are going on. That is all public information. So if for whatever reason you didn't see an inspection sticker on the property and you didn't trust that something occurred, you can go to that website and you can see whether or not that inspection occurred and the result. That is all public information.
So do you keep all the permits, data, like for example, the house, like I'm buying a house and then I want to make sure the date has pulled a permit. But a house being like maybe 20 years.
So retention schedules we have records back to 2006 when our database switched. If it is prior to 2006, more than likely we do not. There are certain things, construction drawings and things like that, the county has a retention schedule and we are required to keep certain things for certain periods of time and it varies based upon what it is.
So 2006, we're coming up on that 20-year mark. But if a basement was put in 10 years ago on a house and it wasn't permitted, we would have a record of that.
Correct.
And you could ask the real estate agent, is everything on this house permitted? Then you throw the obligation to them. I don't know if they have any disclaimers out there now because it's getting to be an issue about unpermitted work. And most real estate companies are well aware of that today because they've been proven liable for things that the fire board wasn't aware of that was built without permits. And it was faulty work. It's the good work built without permits, you never hear about. It's the bad work. And the bad guys always make it tough for the good guys.
So what happened if homeowner become very handy and decided to?
Well, you can. You can put your own flooring down. You can hang your own sheetrock. You can insulate.
And then
you
they
can
hire
actually-
an electrician to do that
And
part.
you can hire an electrician to do wiring. Howard County, I don't know if it's unique to all counties, but you can do 15 and 20 amp circuits in Howard County. Now, we require that the homeowner who wants to do that come in and take a test that our electrical supervisors put together to show that you're qualified to do that. And the same with plumbing. You can do plumbing in Howard County on your own house, on your own project, without a permit. You're required to get a permit, but it's a homeowner's permit. We have a homeowner's electrical permit. You want change faucets in your house, anything like that, or remove and replace a vanity.
Yeah.
You do not need a permit for that plumbing or building.
We're not making a, just replace,
If
you
you're
know, upgrade.
replacing a part,
Upgrade.
replace the receptacle in the wall. We don't care about that. We don't have time to get involved with that.
You can always call or email us and ask if your
Yeah.
scope of work requires a
Yeah.
permit.
You know, if you're doubtful, it might be good to hire an electrician, but the homeowner has some rights to do thick work on your own property. You know, you can paint, you can remove and replace drywall. We don't care if you strip the whole house to drywall.
And change
As
the
long
light
as
fixture,
as
right?
long as it's your primary residence.
Yeah,
Yeah,
If
as
it's a
long as it's
rental
primary
property,
residence.
that's
Now, if
different.
you're a house flipper doing something else, pull the house,
Oh,
you know,
no.
remodel it and sell it, we require that person to have an NHIC license if they do not live there. Again, to protect the consumer. We try, we're not always successful, but there's always people dodging in and out of the law.
So like a water heater, if the homeowner replaced the electric water heater, they need to
They do need a permit,
permit.
and that's relatively new. If you replace the electric hot water heater, because the new code requires a pan under that hot water heater, a drain. It also requires an expansion
Yes,
tank
yeah.
on an electric hot water heater.
Yes.
Previously, it was just gas hot water heaters.
Well, now it's all water.
All water heaters need
What
that
about
expansion.
those tablets?
Still needs a permit.
Still,
Needs electrical permit and a plumbing permit. Tankless, if it's L gas appliances require a permit. That's again public safety, because a lot of time the gas service coming in is not the volume required to service all the gas appliances in the house. That's why we have qualified inspectors to verify that. And it should be done by the contractor who
Mhm.
sells you
Yeah.
the gas hot water heater or gas stove, whatever it may be.
I think the safe bet is when in doubt, call.
But like I said,
Take,
I want
ask
my
them
card
what
there.
needs permit,
Call
don't
the
trust
police
the
office,
contractor.
the man has a staff there all day long, and we answer questions all day long, and it's easy to answer questions before the project and after. But even, it is online, where you can look up the inspection history, everything requires permits all the way through, and requires that final permit, no matter what kind of trade it is, whether it's electric, plumbing, HVAC, or building, they still need a final inspection of all those. And we track them, we go after, we have a database, we collect an 18 permit list. If we have inspections that are so old that have not had an inspection, we contact the homeowner, we contact the contractor, and we try and get them resolved and get them there and inspected. It's tedious, but we do that.
yeah, so I guess the HVAC is the same, right? Because I have a licensed, guys come replace the HVAC
Mhm.
system, whole system. Do we need to apply?
Your
They are licensed.
he's licensed, he should be applying for permits. Yeah, for the furnace equipment, for
Yeah,
heat
there's,
pump, for.
there's no changes, just take the, old one and put a new one.
Right, usually there's no change, especially gas appliances, we find mistakes all the time made in venting and flues.
Oh, okay.
We do find errors, I'm surprised how many problems we do find.
So what's the turnaround time? If I need to replace, as a homeowner, we go apply?
Well, if you hire, whatever the HVAC contractor is,
Right.
when you sign a contract with
Yes.
it
Yes.
should say in that contract that he's applying for permits.
Or
Now,
I
yeah.
apply the permit?
No, you don't have to, your licensed contractor should apply for that permit.
What are you guys' thoughts on finding contractors through like websites like Nextdoor and things like that? I find like sometimes I put questions on there and I'll get a lot of good suggestions, but now I'm looking to do a bathroom remodel. And so I would go out there and say, anybody have any good? But then I notice there are people that are looking to get business and they're like, hey, contact
They
me.
respond to-
Yeah, this is my MHIC. And you look at some things on like Nextdoor on like how good of a contractor they
You
are, but you
can
don't
go
know.
to Department of Labor's website,
Okay,
check that MHC contractors, Dave said you call his office.
okay,
These people will tell you if there's outstanding violations with that contractor.
okay.
And like you said, they don't reissue the license if they've got unresolved issues with the contract.
Okay.
Yeah, no, ultimately, we are tied in with the Department of Labor's database. If the contractor goes to apply and they don't have a license, that's going to be a red flag to us, and
They
we're going to
verify
require
that on the intake
yeah,
of it.
contractor information before it's even accepted, and then reviewed, and then ultimately issued, and Tom Stack goes out and inspects it.
And
So
the
if
Amanda's
you ever had a
tedious.
question about it, you would want to verify with the MHIC board, because
Okay.
that's ultimately what we are going by.
So is the same rule apply to all counties, like the PG County, Montgomery County, or only Howard County have different set rules?
They're very similar, I would say.
Well, we do transmit licensing data every night at whatever time. Everybody's to all the local jurisdictions. So they have the data, whether they use the data. I can't tell you.
Howard County does have a
I'm saying rules are-
separate electrical registration that we do.
Because the license by the state of Maryland.
Right, but we do go for, so for home improvement projects, we go by the MHIC license. For plumbing, we're going by, the master plumber's license. HVAC, we're going by the master's HVAC license through the state. The only one that's different is the electrical registration. So if an electrician is doing work in Howard County, they are required to have an electrical registration through our
They're
department.
required to have a state license and we no
exactly.
longer license that we used to, but the state changed the law, took that
Yeah,
power away
because
from
I
us.
I run into an electrician, he said he had license in Howard County or Baltimore County, but he doesn't go venture out to Montgomery County, so he doesn't.
Right, he
I guess-
doesn't have to be licensed there. Individual counties can require different things, but now the state now requires that they do the licensing.
Oh, okay, because he told me, he said, each county had to pay my rent.
Well, they have to pay a registration fee, I'm sure, in Howard County.
Yeah, but I mean, we can't entirely speak for other
Yeah, I'm not
counties,
sure.
but
Yeah, if you're worried, if you have questions about Montgomery County, call their Department of Permitting Services.
So it's the same way, like,
Somewhat,
potentially.
potentially. And the one thing to keep in mind when you're dealing with trades, the apprentice license doesn't necessarily mean that they can do the work unsupervised, and a lot of business owners only have an apprentice license. So whenever you hire a tradesperson, make sure they have the right level of license. So it may be in
I
some
don't even
trades.
know how to ask.
Well,
Yeah.
worst comes to worst, you start with our office and we can get you to the right place. And I don't know if we were done, but I wanted to make sure we were getting in.
No, I'm finished when
I
I'm supposed to
apologize, we asked.
No, this
No,
is really important, and that's why we were holding this, but I just want to be aware of your time and folks that are watching online. But please, after the program, if you do have additional questions, we're all gonna hang out, and so we can do that. But I did want to invite Marcia and Taylor, if you guys want to come up. They do some amazing work, and this is, depending on your situation, they can help you pay for your home improvement. And so that's, when it comes to budgeting, it's a huge issue, but maybe they can help alleviate some of that burden. Thank you so much, Tom.
So we can get business card from you.
They're right there on
the
the
table.
We have them over there.
Great, thanks.
I'm moving happy to answer questions. Saves a lot of things.
Yes.
Hi, everybody. My name is Taylor Shelton. I'm from Howard County's Department of Housing and Community Development. And once you're ready to start your renovations, we can help you fund it. Our program is called the Reinvest, Renovate, Restore program. And it is for eligible Howard County homeowners only. So we do have an income chart, and the income chart is in the back. So that's the most important thing to know first. We go up to 80% of Howard County's AMI, and it is based off of your household size. So I can tell you if you qualify or not, more or less, and then you can apply with me. I would take your proof of income first with the application. It's about 4 pages. The whole process it has a bunch of steps because we fund your project, but we also partly supervise it in a way. We do have a renovation consultant that would follow along with the project. And like you were saying, it is paid out in draws. So we would do an inspection for the first draw, second draw, and third draw after the project has been completed. We actually just have welcomed some new changes into the program. We can now go up to $50,000 in funding. So it was $40,000 at the beginning of the program, and now we changed it to $50,000. And depending on your income, there is an option for a forgivable loan. Typically for the loans, if it is not in the forgivable or deferred portion, a lot of people end up paying around like $140-ish a month. And it is a 0 to 2% interest rate. So it's super helpful, a lot better than the market rates, loans that you could get from the bank.
But the homeowners still have to go find their own contractor.
That's right, yeah.
And
you
they have to provide signed contract, proposals, apply permits, everything before we apply.
Yeah, so everything that they were saying about the contractors still goes into play. You have to find your own contractor because the Department of Housing is not liable for it if anything goes wrong with the contractor. But the contractor is still responsible for writing up the whole contract and spelling out how much it would be. But that's where the renovation consultant's role comes in. They're kind of a mediator, since I won't be there to oversee the actual project. They're there to, do the draws, they do inspections to make sure everything is going smoothly, and they're the ones that approve us to give out the payments.
When you say they do the inspection, that's different from the...
Oh yeah, it's totally different. It has nothing to do with that specifically. They go in and they look to make sure that whatever was on the original scope of work has been completed for that portion of the project.
And prove whether it all passed the inspections, all the certificates.
It's not the same type of inspection as what they do. It's a completely separate type of inspection. They're just looking over the work.
Are there other programs within the county where a renovation consultant is available?
I'm not sure. I don't believe so. But yeah, for us, we have it available.
Something.
Yeah, definitely. We have HUD certified renovation consultants. They are with the federal government, or I don't know how they've been certified specifically, but they work with the federal government's rehab program. So we pull them and they kind of know what to do from there.
I have a question, but we can do it.
Yeah, for sure. So it's pretty general. Our program, I have the flyers in the back of the room that you can grab, as well as my business card. And I'm the one who's working on all the applications. So if you guys do choose to apply, you'd be talking to me directly. You can feel free to call me with specific questions. I know everyone's project is different. That's what's so interesting about home renovations. Like new things come up every day. So feel free to call me, and I'm accepting applications all the time. I'll just reiterate again, you can get up to $50,000 in assistance, and then it is based on your income. So I can give you, for example, a household of 2, the maximum income would be $82,911 for the whole household of 2 people.
So when you say home renovation, does that include so-called addition?
Oh, that's a good question, yeah. So when I say home renovations, we are really looking to help, improve the state of the home, and we want to make sure that people are able to stay in a safe environment. So we're not necessarily looking at cosmetic repairs. It's going to be, like the urgent things like roofing, windows, big projects that people really need assistance with. But yeah.
So you have a list of what qualified to? Okay.
Yeah, we have a list.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? That was it for me. Thanks, guys.
Hi, my name is Marcia White. I am the operations manager for We Go Together Howard County. And we've been working, we're a nonprofit. We've been working in Howard County since 1992. We were formerly Christmas in April. We were a once-a-year organization. We have a giant volunteer event once a year, and we would work on homes of low-income homeowners in Howard County. But for about the last 10 years, we've been year-round, staffed, nonprofit, and again, we offer free home repairs for low-income Howard County homeowners. The repairs that we do are meant to keep homeowners safe in their homes. Again, like Taylor said, it's not a cosmetic repairs that we're looking at. We're looking at repairs that keep homeowners safe in their homes. For example, we do roofs, HVAC replacements, plumbing, electrical, anything safety related that we can help a homeowner with. To qualify for our program, you must be low income, and that number varies depending on how many people live in a home, but our average family income is $30,000 a year. We also have to live in the county, own your home, be current on your taxes, have homeowners insurance, and that's about it. We do a lot of modifications for folks that are aging in place. We do ramps, stair glides, grab bars, comfort height toilets, walk-in, step-in tub conversions. That's keeping us very busy because a lot of folks are really trying to stay at home for as long as possible. So we do a lot of work with them. We also have urgent repairs. So people that find, in all this rain we've been having and their roof fails and they need help right away, we're in a position to help them quickly as well. The work that we do is done by licensed contractors. We hire a lot of licensed contractors. We also do a lot of mobile home repairs along the Route 1 corridor in tandem with the county Department of Community Resources and Services. We do have a big event coming up April 27th. It's our largest event of the year. We are going to be helping 20 homeowners with 500 volunteers on that day, and going to make a big difference for a lot of folks who need help. So if you know anyone that is struggling, that needs critical repairs to their homes, they can apply on our website, which is rebuildingtogether.org, or we can mail an application to them directly. And we have a flyer in the back too, if you know anybody that could use our help.
So how can you volunteer?
You can sign up on our website to volunteer.
I mean, we want to be receiving, but also we want to give it.
Yeah.
Give it, right?
Yeah.
So there's always two sides.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a place on our website where you can sign up. Okay. Thank you.
Well, thank you to Dave, Tom, Amanda, Taylor, and Marcia for such an amazing program. Thank you to the audience and those that are watching. If you have follow-up questions, I have placed an email in the comments, and I will be happy to route your questions to the speakers. For those that are here, please take the time, visit the tables. There's a lot of resources here. And if you have additional questions, how much longer? You guys can stay a little bit longer, right? So feel free to stay and get all of your questions answered. And if there's anything I can answer, I will be here as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.